everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. I'm here today with a flip through of my latest journal, and I'm calling this one Flight of the Woolly Bee. I've been really feeling these big, chunky, two spine books that are long fabric wraparound kind of covers. And this one I think is quite special because it's just really lovely and has a yarn aspect to it. So I'm not gonna lie, this cover was super difficult to make. Not a tutorial I'll be providing anytime soon because it would be guaranteed frustration. So we have in this book 6 chunky signatures. It's quite a thick journal, and yeah, it feels really good in hand. It's a nice, like, weight. It's good to, I think you could truck it around with you if you wanted to. And it is, again, like a roll-up situation. So let me talk about the cover and the spine and things. So the tie, first of all, is made from satin, and I've torn and fringed it, and it's been stitched, and it's, kind of shabby feeling. It's this pretty color of aqua, and it has a stitched on flower here, and then stitched on little leaves all around in different places where the seams kind of meet. So then you just untie it, and the way that it has the ties, so we have one long tie that goes around the journal about 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. So it's the big long tie, and then the other one is the shorter tie. So when you tie it up, you wrap this around 3 times, and then it comes here to meet this one, and I'll show you at the end how we tie it up. So let's get the ties out of the way, and I'll show you the cover. So you'll see again that it's one of my pieced kind of freeform quilted covers, but in this case I used this beautiful children's sweater that has these cute flowers. This is knitted, and it has these color worked bees, and then we flip around to the back, and this is actually an antique, like, turn of the century children's bathing suit that was made from cotton, and it was hand embroidered. It was never worn by anyone, but I bought it because I had a slight obsession with antique baby clothes when my children were kids. But when I bought it, it was already too little for my daughter, but it was so cute, and I wanted to use this beautiful fabric. Then I used some batik green because I wanted to add some pops of a different color like this green. So you can see here there are 3 visible signatures. We pop it open, and then you have on the inside more of the knit flowers, another bee, and a cluster of little buttons. And then another favorite piece of mine, which is this cute little tunic that I had that had, it felt a little like, the children's kind of clothes that you see in places like Germany and Sweden where they have like lederhosen and things. It's always got those like 2 little kind of divides on the front, and so it has these tiny little roses on it, and we see 3 more signatures there, and then more of that amazing embroidered antique fabric. Okay, so that's the cover. So as you'll see, the inside that I was calling, the fabric that I used, I'm calling like Blanche's bed sheets from the Golden Girls, because if you watch the Golden Girls, you'll get the reference. She had a bedspread and wallpaper that matched, and it was this big leafy pattern. So I used it on the inside cover, so it extends through the whole cover. Now you'll see there are basically 2 journals here. So 2 spines where these 3 signatures each are bound, and then a lace pocket that runs the full length of the whole cover. Okay, so let's begin by showing you kind of the way it would go away. So you've got this side flips over, then we roll, then we roll, then we tie. Okay, so now let's unroll. This whole thing lays flat. It's very well put together. Nothing flies out of it or anything, so you'll see me tumbling it around and not having any troubles managing it. It's easy to set on your desk, and you can, kind of set one aside while you're working with the other. So yeah, let's get started. So pocket 1. In here we have one of my laminated plant trapped cards, and one of my little creatures from my Etsy shop. Writing space on the back. And this journal, I was going to call it Flower Farmers, just simply because of this piece of ephemera, because I love this picture so much of these old 1800s flower farmers. This man is just kind of magical to me, and they're holding onto flowers. They're at their floral kind of orchard, and I put it inside this Victorian photograph album to make kind of like a cabinet card that was a little fancier out of it. And it is rusty paper clipped onto this beautiful image of these roses. So I used a couple of books in here that were botanical themes. There is definitely an overall botanical feel. These are from books like that I tore apart to, use them all up, and I selected all the most lovely things out of the books. So here we have, this is a stamp page that I got some vintage stamps on that says Jamaica, and it's lovely old paper. Also, you'll see some references to Somewhere Over the Rainbow in this journal. So this is the song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow, why then, oh, why can't I? And it is on a field guide page with leaves. And we have a collage tag here. This is a commonplace book that definitely has nature overtones to it. A collaged pocket with one of my Sweet Pea kids cards, journal cards. Some dyed paper. And this pocket here on this beautiful gilded sparkly scrapbook paper, butterflies. Now this was something that I received in a package when I bought a Mab Graves print. They always send along these little kind of postcards. So Mab Graves is a really talented and one of my favorite artists, and I thought I would use it up. So I put plastic over it, added some sequins, and so this little girl is riding on this bat. This is Mab Graves art, and I've stitched around it and backed it to kind of give it a little more structure as a journal card. And then this was from a gardening journal, so it's got some pansies down here. And over here, Earth Laughs in Flowers, Ralph Waldo Emerson. Cabbage dyed paper. This little drawing of a greenhouse, I used it as a tuck spot on some antique 1905 music paper. And this is an envelope that I made out of this Garden Lover advertisement book page. And inside I've tucked this little journal tag that says, read poetry nowadays. And so then this pops in here. Then this is a little collage pocket that I made, and it has this tag in it. This is from Chapter 1 Papers. Gulp, I loved my vegetable garden, so here is my sad ballad. I nurtured it for months and ate it in one salad. And that is from Arnold Zaret. And some coloring book page. This says, fill these branches with a chorus. Children's writing paper, some Edith Holden here because I just felt like we needed some Edith Holden. More children's writing paper, songbirds, coloring book page, a little pocket here. You'll also see lots of anthropomorphic animals, something that I really enjoy and love. Always have. And this is a little mouse from a book called Country Lane. I've used several pages of Country Lane in here, so you will see more of this kind of illustration. This is a vintage advertisement for roses, and it's been turned into a journaling card. This is from that garden journal, just beautiful plants. And again, that music paper, and I've added a pocket here from Chapter 1 Papers, stitched some fabric bits. This is one of my creatures from my Etsy shop, and I made a tag with it from a collage board. And then, I was going to say from Mass Make March, the collage boards that I made in Mass Make March. And cabbage dyed paper, some peas along the side there. This is a little pocket, which could use a little bit of glue. I think I maybe missed, yeah, I think I I missed the top here. You know, every now and then we have to do a little fix-ups, and that's okay. You can miss glue and not be upset about it. So it's also a crafting video. Who knew? It's okay. My glue bottle is being cranky because I need to refill my glue bottles today. I have it on my to-do list for the day because I often just keep forgetting, and then I struggle like this. I might need to deeply unclog this bottle. No, there it goes. Okay. There we go. Just run a little line of glue here. There we go. And that's art glitter glue, so it's going to pretty much dry instantaneously. So let's just give it a nice press. Okay, there we go. Now we're good. Okay, so that collage pocket on this, this is more from that garden journal, and then inside we have this. I'm just going to put my pin in my glue, sorry. We have this collaged pocket. It has sewing paper at the back, and just tucks in there. And then we have this belly band here that I've stitched on, and there's a little bird, and then it's on that lovely gilded scrapbook paper again. And this is another image from the book Country Lane, and I just absolutely love like the hamsters and the guinea pigs and like your more unusual kind of animals wearing all their cute little outfits. Dyed paper field guide, this little tab that comes out here from this. That pocket says, "Why oh why can't I?" from Somewhere Over the Rainbow. This is like a Victorian style, it's Garden Party was the name of the art, and it's a bunch of lovely Victorians. And I've stitched some hand-dyed parchment on the side of that tag. More of that lovely old stamp graph paper. And this was just a beautiful page from a garden book. And then up here, a little rusty paper clip is hanging on to this envelope that I've collaged, and I've stitched some lace to. And inside of it, we have this. This is like an original piece of ephemera. So it's about the Exeter Centennial, 1873 to 1973, Mercy Brothers Dance, June 30th of 1973. So this was from the personal effects of this gentleman I got at an estate auction, and he wrote on the back of it, kind of, you know, he went to this dance, and it says, "Went alone. It struck me as more listening music. I would not really dance to this music. Something is Darlene Porter. I took first aid with her." Oh, seen Darlene Porter, I think. Went to somewhere, looks like Parleswood Twine, to reception for Mary Ann Hogan. So yeah, he was an interesting character. He wrote a lot of like his different small life events. Like he was a very interesting character. You can actually see more of his writing in my Etsy shop. I made a digital collection called Dietrich's Logs, where you have his handwriting, and he would write down kind of like all of his purchases and things. He was a really fascinating character. So this is another page from the book Country Lane, and I love these images. This beaver has bitten this tree, and I've just backed it here with some nice blue dotted paper. So we'll stick that little envelope up there again. And then this little tuck spot is using one of my little leafling girls, and it is collaged, and inside we just have this little card, little journal card from Tim Holtz. But I thought the colors were quite lovely together. And it is on the back of a Beatrix Potter page. This is some hand-dyed paper. This is a card from Chapter 1 papers, and it's very pretty. It's like a piece of stationery essentially, but I folded it like a card, and it just tops this. This is some of my hand dyed sprayed paper on like a lightweight scrapbook paper, and some cabbage dyed ledger. This was from a children's learning to read and write book. in Italian. And then this is a parchment triple pocket that I made. So at the very back, we have this lovely bride who she basically was like, had a garden, was the wife of like a gardener, and I love her whole outfit. She's got leaves in her, like her wedding tiara, her corsage, her bouquet, and in her dress itself, and you can see just the lovely old lace. So I popped her in there. She could be a journaling card, or you could add her somewhere else. And then we have this little journal card that goes in this pocket, and then this little journal card of this mouse and the sheep, and then this little journal card that's like a giant stamp. So there are 2 pockets here. You'll see 1 and 2, and then the back one is 3. And this is some cabbage dyed music tablature paper. This is actually from the Somewhere Over the Rainbow book. And over here we have this large belly band from Chapter 1 Papers, and inside is another of those Mab Graves postcards. I backed this one, and I also embossed it, so it's got that lovely clear emboss kind of feel to it. So that pops in here. And then some hand-dyed paper, this pocket holding onto this lovely Country Lane postcard, and then this is more of my dyed paper on that thinner scrapbook paper. An image from Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream come true. And then there's the moon and the star, and from the Somewhere Over the Rainbow. This is more of my sprayed paper. A little tuck spot made from Country Lane, the Mama Beaver there. And this is a Kelway's Manual journal card that I made. Some hand-dyed paper. A little bleeding hearts, one of my favorite flowers. I'm actually drawing some in my flower press right now, so I can't wait to see what happens. And that's a page from Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And then this is a little tag made from a book, a little French children's book called Hélène. And it says, "You cannot pluck roses without fear of thorns." And on the back we have some Eric Carle illustration and lines for writing. More of Somewhere Over the Rainbow and cabbage dyed music tablature paper. This is more of that learn how to read and write and draw kind of paper, and a little collaged botanical pocket. This is a journal card that I made with a little bit of lace and fabric up top of this lady tending to her irises. Cabbage dyed ledger paper, sprayed paper. We have a pocket with some lace and more botanicals, and then this is a journal tag that I collaged. A little Tim Holtz person and a bit of shabby-dabby-doo-dah paper back there. This is more of my dyed paper and another Beatrix Potter book page. Then we have kind of a double tuck spot. So there's a tuck spot here for this. This is from Shabby-Dabby-Doo-Dah. This is from Amity Bloom, this little tabbed pocket, and that goes in there. And then this is one of my Sweet Pea paper dolls, and I just collaged with the strips left over from my projects and added some fabric there for this big journal tag. Another page from Country Lane, and I just love this disgruntled bunny. He's like got all of his seeds and he's talking to the bird. And then the last signature of this part of the journal, we have these beautiful botanicals, and then an envelope that I made from this leafy paper with some old book spine. And this says, "Passed like music through my brain, night interpreted to me all its grace and mystery." And then inside the envelope we have this journal card that's made from, it was like a vintage Christmas card, and it was featured inside of a book about botanical gardens and things, and so I cut it out of the book, and I just love the image, so I made a journal card from it. And then on back here is packaging paper. This just clips on here as so with this rusted paper clip. And then we have some vintage Birdfield Guide, the Bohemian Waxwing, and the Northern Shrike. This is cabbage dyed paper. This is more of the plant field guide. This is another of those vintage card snippets that I made a tuck spot out of. I love these daffodils and lace and the best wishes. And then another little collage journal card that I made with one of my little mushroom people. And you can find that collection in my shop as well. That just goes in here. And some green dyed paper. This is another beautiful black and white image of a greenhouse. And back here we have a calendar page with amazing botanicals. And this is, it says rare water lilies. And it has the Oriental Nelebuum. And it is the sacred lotus. And it is from Chapter 1 Papers. This is some cabbage dye paper. And then this is a really cute children's book about houses for people and animals. So this one says, or chickadee-dee-dee, and I left that there because I remember fondly as a child listening to the chickadees make that sound when I was camping. This is Round Little Door. And this is just some nice old craft paper. It's been put together with sewing paper. If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, from Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And then we have another little, I folded this little tab so it kind of flips and it's kind of fun. It's from Amity Bloom, and more of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And this is just a collage tag that I had some fun with an old, where I do some estate haul shopping, there is like a congregation of, well, not a congregation, I guess a community of Amish and Mennonite people. I often get a lot of their old ephemera, including this typewritten church notes kind of thing. So I use that as background because I love the typewriter and all the stars, and then just collaged away with it. And this is a paper doll from It Capulli Imaginarium on Etsy. I stitched some fabric up top. More of that fun craft paper. Another page here from that children's book about animal homes. This is Feel Free and has a little mole there. Or a gopher or a weasel. Some fun cabbage dyed paper. Just a little botanical snippet. Over here we have this leaf that I cut out of a book, and it is a tuck spot on this calendar paper that's also botanical for this lovely lady in her garden here. And that just tucks up there as a journal card. More dyed paper and more field guide. And this is a beautiful botanical that I got from an old greeting card. This lady, I love her, and this man, they are in a greenhouse. So again, you know, the botanical feel just goes throughout this book. I've been feeling the spring lately, so lots of botanicals coming out of me here. This is more cabbage dyed paper, the yellow warbler and the cerulean warbler. And then the last page is this beautiful Prosenthera. And then we have another lace pocket here. I've got some gilding and also some fun oxide spray on these, so they had a little more depth. And then this is one of my button cards, and that just goes in here. And then we can flip this, and that's the front of that journal, and then we can move on to the second journal. So this begins with a belly band with one of my little creatures here. And then this frog from Country Lane, and he's going fishing, and he's got his little bobber there, and I totally love him. That's on a botanical page. Let me just flip this way. So this is another beautiful botanical from a book, and some yellow paper there. It was a fly page. Then music tablature that's been cabbage dyed. Another button card with a little hummingbird as a tuck spot for another cute Country Lane image with this like gerbil or hamster talking to a little mouse. And I just collaged this with paper strips of dyed paper. I thought it kind of went fun with the children's writing paper. And then some of my hand-dyed papers. This little tuck spot on music paper, and one of my glove box fun little acetate window cards with this girl holding a mushroom. sprayed page and a little stationery page with some botanicals and butterflies. More dyed paper. This is a snippet strip belly band on the Somewhere Over the Rainbow paper, and this is a fun journal card backed with dyed paper from a book called A Moth is Born from the 1940s, and it says the first day in the wilds, and I've done a little collaging, so that just tucks on in there. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard once in a lullaby. More of that beautiful Somewhere Over the Rainbow, dyed in stationery papers, sprayed paper, a collaged pocket that I made, and this tag that I collaged. Just a fun little frame label, and more children's stationery and collaged dyed papers. Another little collage pocket with a coffee dyed 2-table tally game card inside. Cabbage dyed music tablature. And this is a large journal card from an old garden magazine that I backed and added some fabric up top. She's got the cutest little kitten. And then a beautiful botanical page. And then this is another lovely page from a book of this, another like flower farmer, another gardener, and his wife and child. And they're from the 1800s, and it's like a blue tone photograph. Then we have this pocket with this cute little girl on the Somewhere Over the Rainbow paper. And this, you can see, has a little thumb hole up there. And that means we have something inside. It's a pocket. So there's this botanical journal card that goes in this pocket. And then up top here, there's this big journal tag from Chapter 1 papers. And that goes up here, back into the pocket. And then over here, more of the Somewhere Over the Rainbow paper and music tablature that's been cabbage dyed. An Amity Bloom pocket on some of my dyed scrapbook paper. Another It Capilli Imaginarium collage tag. This one I added a fun like folder line or two. More of my dyed papers. This is the Language and Poetry of Flowers explained here. So it has a selection of the flowers and their meanings. Just a beautiful old painting from a book of this lady kind of looking at like her washstand with flowers. More dyed paper. This pocket and this stationery are actually both from Chapter 1 papers, and I painted the back just for some fun stationery. Some sprayed and dyed ledger. And another little collage pocket with one of my little mushroom people. And this is a collaged journal card that I made. It says Leafless Trees Rose Up. It has this on the back. More of my dyed paper and a really cute page from Country Lane. Another cute beaver page here from Country Lane. More dyed paper and Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Chapter 1 papers, little pocket, and a journal card. More dyed paper. This is a wraparound pocket that I made from some handmade tickets that I made. A page from Country Lane, and this is from Chapter 1 papers. More Country Lane, and a little journal card that I collaged. More hand-dyed paper. This is more hand-dyed paper. It is cabbage dyed ledger, and I say I've clipped it already. I've double clipped this together, so let me unclip it so you can see the sprayed page. And this is a large journal card that I collaged. Carter's Rose Fields. Some more hand-dyed paper. This is a little tarot card with this little girl holding her bunny and some irises back here. And then one of my little notebooks. It has different fun little papers. This one has Where Go the Boats, a little verse inside there. And this was from a book. It's just a beautiful image of a goose. More sprayed and dyed tablature paper. This is a big cluster pocket with a swan. And then inside we have, I dyed this paper. This was from a doll book about Jumo dolls. And it's kind of like a little shuttered, like stationery journal card. I dyed the back of the packaging paper as well. So it's got this fun greeny blue shade to it. And that just pops in here. And then, oh, this is also the top pocket, and we have Until the Leaves Fall from the Trees, another little collaged journal tag with an owl, and that just pops in this top pocket. And then another page from Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And the last signature, I believe, yes. So we have this beautiful bench around a tree. I always love when I find those. And then a little pansy kind of, or violet rather, pocket on some leafy paper. And then a piece of stationery from Chapter 1 Papers, and I've dry brushed on the back of it. Some hand dyed paper. This paper clipped on to my dyed paper is a really fun postcard from a Vintage Fleur magazine of all of these beautiful moths. More dyed paper and yellow paper. This is a belly band made from a snippet strip, and we have this little frog journal card and a bird back there. More sprayed paper. This is from a book of botanical needlework patterns, and then I've added this little collage sprayed pocket here, this little tag of a bird in a nest. And then more cabbage dyed music tablature. This was just a beautiful greeting card that I used as a flip, like a tip out. And some sprayed paper. This is from Somewhere Over the Rainbow. That's the center of the spread there. More Somewhere Over the Rainbow and more sprayed paper. This is a little botanical collaged tuck spot. And a large collaged journal card with a lovely bird. Cabbage dyed music tablature. Another little pansy pocket. And this is from Country Lane. I made a little tag out of him. More of that needlework paper and sprayed paper. A little daffodil pocket and a journal card from Country Lane. Absolutely love that book. It's so cute. More sprayed paper and another Chapter 1 Papers pocket. And this is the last of the Mad Graves shaker cards here. So this was the last of the postcards. And I added sequins in there. And this little girl with her little cat dinosaur. Hand dyed paper. Some vintage roses. Chapter 1 Papers pocket here. And I've threaded some thread through the tab. This is one of my little creatures, and I made a collage tag. Then we reach the end of the 2 paper journals. So let's recombobulate this, and then I'll show you back here. So I've got that extended long pocket. So over here and here we have some ephemera. So inside this pocket I included one of my jelly printed and collaged greeting cards. So lots of writing space there. And this little pine cone fairy, it is, the pine tree fairy from Flower Fairies of the Trees, 1940. So this is a reproduction postcard of that cute little fairy. And then on this side I put something thin because it's in the fold of the book. So it's this tall giraffe, it's a tag, and it says, "Where it is always summer." So that pops in there. Now let me show you how to put the journal kind of back, together. So you just, fold this down, flip it over like this. You've got the 2 journals stacked. Then grab that, and you're going to take the long tie here, and you'll just kind of give it a tug, wrap it around 1, 2, 3 times, and then you'll grab the other tie, and then we just make a nice bow here. And you should get this. The little flower falls in the middle, and then you've got the leaf here that just kind of falls to the side. So that is our journal. So that is Flight of the Woolly Bee. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you're seeing this video, this journal will be heading up to my Etsy shop. You can find all of my links down below in the description box. And I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye for now.